Hello, the doc is in and welcome back to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 264. Last chapter, we end off with Angel popping in, surprisingly, due to a Toto swap, to land Jacob's ladder once more on a surprise, unprepared, weakened Sukuna, knocking him out of the fight. Or so you would say if you were hopeful. In reality, considering the story writing, that it was never going to happen. So, this new chapter handles that situation. So, Angel blowing a trumpet. Sukuna, still surprised. Yuji, traumatized. Toto, blocked. We see Sukuna's first move is to, in fact, as the memes did predict, climbing the fucking ladder of Jacob. Now, it's not literal, like, he's not like swimming through a light. Now, that would have been actually fucking sick. But what he does is that he punches the ground, rubble goes up, and he starts hopping up the rubble to attack Angel. Now, obviously, our first thought would be, well, damn, didn't the last time he got hit with Jacob's ladder, didn't he like basically just die like very quickly? And the only way he was gonna survive was literally by mewing and then being like, Angel, Hana, I love you oh so dearly. You should stop attacking me so that then we can be in love together. And then, proceeding to bite her arm off. Well, as Sukuna points out, there's a couple of reasons why Hana's / Angel's attack isn't as strong as it was last time. It really just comes down to a few things. For one, her arm is still missing. She did not regenerate that. Perhaps it was soul damage. Perhaps she just didn't want to get her arm back. One thing or another. The just of it is, because of her lack of her arm, her output's not the same. That, as well as the fact that Toto / Yuji were in the area, so she may have wanted to hold back slightly as to not, nuke them as well. Much of either way, though, point is the attack isn't as strong as it was before. Therefore, Sukuna, even in his weakened state, isn't affected enough to stop him from being able to retaliate. He climbs up the ladder, gets to Angel. Angel starts flying away, but it's not fast enough. Sukuna charges up his fist and lets out a black flash. But Toto was still fucking locked, and he blocks the black flash for Angel, trying to keep her in the fight. Sadly though, despite being locked, despite being recognized by Sukuna, the King of Curses, as a true Jujutsu sorcerer, they are blown away into rubble. And obviously, on Toto's part, he's been fucking MVP for the longest, right? W teammate beyond anyone else. He is knocked out. Angel, the fraud, also knocked out despite being saved. What was the point of saving her if she was going to be knocked out anyway? But either way though, they're out of commission. Now Sukuna's like, okay, now all that's left is to fight Yuji. It'll be fine. But he wasn't locked in enough, because while he was climbing the ladder, so was Yuji. He comes up, he cocks his fist, punches Sukuna in the face, then drops him by the legs and takes him down from the top rope and slams him into a building, destroying multiple stories of the building. And now they're inside, right? Sukuna, immediately after landing, dodges off the ground as presumably Cleave on the ground, which obviously Sukuna doesn't get hit by, so he jumps off the ground. But in jumping off, he shoots 2 slashes. Yuji dodges. Damn, the goat. But despite dodging the 2 slashes, he's then hit with a fist to the face, as we see that Sukuna has regained all of his arms due to using that most recent black flash for gaining his RCT. From here, Sukuna begins dogging on Yuji, as 4 arms are in fact better than 2 arms when you're not stronger than your opponent. El Cricket. And so Sukuna just begins, he just boxes Yuji up. Yuji still trying to use his cleave / dismantles, try to hit Sukuna, and obviously it's a kill shot. Especially at this point, Sukuna's so weak at this point that another dismantle, as he points out, will be the end of him. But as he also points out, hey, if I just keep, dodging attacks, getting in hits in the openings, playing very, very safe, there is nothing that Yuji can do to stop me. It's over for him. But this is a shonen story. Flashback. All that time ago, Gojo explaining, how do you use barrier techniques? How do you use a domain? He breaks it down and he explains, hey, curse techniques imbued within a domain are guaranteed to hit. And so Yuji locks in one last time, I presume, domain expansion. Cut. Train station. Sukuna sitting in a chair. Yuji walks on up to Yuji Kuna, no longer Mega Kuna, Yuji Kuna, and he says, hey, come on, Sukuna, let's go. Sukuna in fucking disbelief. End of chapter. What can I say? It's over. It has to be. It has to be. I'm feeling like we're seeing a parallel to this Gojo situation where Sukuna's now getting welcomed into the afterlife by Yuji, and Yuji's gonna be like, you're a real piece of work. You know that, Sukuna? And I have nothing nice to say about you. Die and burn in hell. Middle finger, goes back to the world of living. Boom. Game. Oh my god, it's happening. It's happening for real. Alright. As far as the rest of the chapter, I have no real complaints. It totally makes sense. Hana being weak and not being able to kill Sukuna, it's, you guys can say it kind of is a cop-out, but it's also like I said, she is missing an arm, and there are explanations for it that do make sense. Like, unless she compensated with some kind of binding vow where she was like, I won't heal my arm back. In exchange, I maintain the same level of strength in my technique, despite not using the same number of hand signs to do the technique or the proper, rituals to do the technique. Not rituals in traditional sense, but you get the idea, right? Unless she did something like that, it would make sense that her technique would be weaker, as long as with the fact that she's just not really a powerhouse outside of her technique. Like, the technique really is the carrier, as Sukuna points out as well during the chapter, so it only makes sense that, anything that weakens her kind of puts her off. Right. Toto being the GOAT and saving Hana, W for him, L for Hana for not being awake after someone else taking a hit for her. That's fucking crazy. The biggest fraud in the story for sure. Toto compliments, fucking W. Yuji and Sukuna's final, set of hands makes sense. I think that's reasonable considering the situation. Gets all his arms back, just so that then it could be like, it feels like Yuji's being Sukuna at his strongest. Obviously he's not, but I just like that feeling. I'm totally cool with that. Domain expansion use, it being kind of something he learned from taking over Kusaka's body, who's someone who's really good with barriers. Makes sense to me. I don't really know what the domain expansion could be. If I had to take a guess, it is going to be something similar to Malevolent Shrine. Maybe it's a variation where it specifically attacks the soul and severs Megami and Sukuna's souls from each other. That would be pretty fucking baller. But I suppose we gotta wait till next chapter to find out those details. Other than that, very excited for next chapter. I feel like it's gonna be that conclusion, very, very, very reminiscent of the Gojo versus Sukuna conclusion. It's gonna be Yuji talking to Sukuna, being like, hey, you're cooked, buddy. Sukuna basically being incredulous and being like, yeah, I still fucking hate you and whatnot. I can't believe you're the one who's sending me off. Like, I wish somebody else would have came. And Yuji basically being like, well, you're still a piece of shit. And Sukuna being like, likewise. See you around. Dead. Yuji's good. So beautiful. So beautiful. Either way, though, that is all for this chapter, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and watch the videos on the right. Other than that, the doc is out. Bye.